You have watched this happen and called it bad luck. Someone capable builds a thing, a company, a family, a name, and at the end, hands it to the one man in the room least fit to hold it. You called it a mistake. It was not a mistake. There is a law underneath it, and almost no one will say it to your face. Picture a tent on the northern frontier, near the Danube, in the cold. Marcus Aurelius is dying inside it. He is, by most accounts, the most thoughtful man ever to hold absolute power, a soldier who would rather have been a philosopher, who wrote private notes to himself about duty and death that men still read 18 centuries later. For 4 reigns before him, Rome had done something rare. Each emperor, lacking a son worth the throne, had looked across the whole of the empire, found the most capable man he could, adopted him, and handed power to merit instead of blood. Nerva to Trajan. Trajan to Hadrian. Hadrian to Antoninus. Antoninus to Marcus, the best century Rome would ever have. And Marcus, the wisest of them, ended it. He had a son. So he gave the world to his son. The son was Commodus, the boy who inherited the most disciplined empire on earth, spent his reign renaming the months of the calendar after himself, fighting in the arena, dressed as Hercules, and having his own face carved onto the great colossus beside the Colosseum. Cassius Dio, who lived through it, said Rome passed in that moment from a kingdom of gold into one of iron and rust. Dio was a senator and no friend to the man, so take the cruelty in his telling with some salt, but the shape of it is not in dispute. The machine that had once searched a continent for its best man now simply took whoever came out of the right womb. But Commodus is not the disturbing part. The disturbing part is that Marcus could see the boy clearly and crowned him anyway, and that you, standing where he stood, would almost certainly have done the same. Because this is not the story of one bad heir, it is a pattern every empire walks into with its eyes open, as if pulled. Go back further, to the man who built the whole thing. Augustus took a republic drowning in civil war and spent 50 years turning it into an empire so well made it ran for centuries on his design. He was patient past belief. He buried heir after heir, the nephew, the trusted friend, the 2 grandsons he had groomed for it, and kept building anyway. And what did that genius for construction finally deliver? 2 and 3 steps down his own bloodline, Caligula. Then Nero, a man remembered for talking to the moon and threatening to make his horse a consul. A man remembered for singing while the city burned and dying with the words, "What an artist the world loses in me." The histories that hand us those scenes were written by men who despised them, and some of it is theatre. But Augustus, the most careful architect power has ever known, could not keep his own creation out of those hands. The blood decided. The blood always decides. Nietzsche saw the mechanism under this and gave it a cold name. He said that everything alive, once it begins to age, stops choosing what is strong and starts choosing what is safe. A young thing risks itself. An old thing protects itself. He called this decadence not collapse, but the slow inward turn where an institution's instincts quietly reverse, and the very traits that once made it great begin to feel like threats. Think about what an aging empire actually wants from its next ruler. Not greatness. Greatness is dangerous. Greatness has its own will, its own ideas, and it does not ask permission. What the tired machine wants is someone who will disturb no one, someone harmless, manageable, owed everything, and threatening nothing. The bloodline delivers exactly that. It does not select the worthy. It selects the available, and the men around the throne, the courtiers and the comfortable, sleep easier under a weak master than a strong one. Nietzsche had a figure for the end of this road. He called him the last man, the one who has made himself small and warm and unthreatening, who blinks and asks for no trouble, and is secretly proud of having no greatness left to lose. An institution in decline does not crown its best man. It cannot. Its appetite has changed. It crowns the one who flatters its exhaustion. And here is the part almost no one says out loud. The worst man is not an accident the system failed to prevent. He is the thing the system had, by then, been quietly built to produce. The merit had to die first softly, in the comfortable years, when no one was watching before the mediocrity could be crowned. By the time the bad heir takes the throne, the real decay is already a generation old. He is not the disease. He is only the symptom that finally grew too large to ignore. Now stop thinking about Rome. Think about the company you have watched from the inside. The one that, in its hungry years, promoted the difficult, brilliant, dangerous people who built it, and then, once it was large and safe and frightened of itself, began handing the top floor to whoever offended no one. Think about the family business passed to the son who never earned it, over the outsider who could have saved it. Think about the institution you belong to, that no longer asks who is best, only who is next, only who is owed. You have stood in that room. You felt the exact moment the question changed, when it stopped being who can carry this and quietly became who do we not have to fight. And if you are honest, you have felt the temptation in your own life, over a thing you built with your own hands, to hand it to comfort instead of to merit, because comfort is easier to love. You will see it everywhere now, once you know its shape, not as scandal as weather. You will watch healthy things begin to prefer the safe to the alive, and you will know what stage they have entered long before anyone announces it. You will hear an institution stop speaking about who deserves to lead and start speaking about who is next in line, and you will recognize the sound for exactly what it is. The crowning of the worst man is never the beginning of the fall. It is the moment the fall, long finished in private, finally puts on a crown and steps into the light.